Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Colette here today from Witch Ways, and today I want to share with you a video about the magical full moons of winter and what you can do for the months of December, January, and February full moons, sharing some magical practices and spells that you can do. And if you'd like to see me continue this with a spring video about the spring full moons, go ahead and just say yes in the comments. I hope you enjoy. Overall, December's magical themes revolve around candles, lights, celebration, festivities, and some of the other associations are things like stars and candles and evergreens. And you can put these on your altar to help enhance that December full moon magic. Sometimes the traditional folk names for these moons can be used to inspire your magical practices at this time of year or to invoke the power of that moon. December's full moon was called the cold moon by the Mohawk and many other indigenous tribes in northeastern North America. Some say it was also called that by the Celts, but I'm not really sure about that. In China, it was called the bitter moon. In Old English, Anglo-Saxon, some Germanic and Nordic traditions, this moon was called the before Yule moon or the before Yule month. My first magical practice is to charge some full moon candles. Gather as many white or black candles as you want, and you can make some intuitive choices about which you want. So for instance, you might choose the white candles if you're looking for more illumination of the dark winter months and some inspiration. If you're looking for more of that restful, nurturing, deep darkness of the winter nights, you might charge black candles. To do this, just lay them out on a cloth or somewhere where the full moon light will hit them at some point during the night, and then let them sit there and be charged. If you want, you can take this a step further and put an intention into those candles in addition to the full moon charging them. So cast a circle if that's part of your practice, and then take a moment to think about what kind of support or resources you might need to make it through the winter. Or you can charge them with qualities like hope or strength or encouragement or rest. Do your best to embody or hold that thought or those qualities in your mind, and lay your hands on the candles and try to visualize or imagine that that energy is moving into those candles. If you're not good at visualizing, just pick those candles up, hold them, and whisper to them what you want to have go into them. Then again, lay them out somewhere where the full moon light will strike them. And it's good if you can leave them out all night, but you should get at least a few hours in. My next magical practice is about creating your own magical cards that have intentions in them to use in your spells or on your altars. And this is something that can be easily adapted to a group. One of the special things about the full moon in December is that it rises and sets further north than at any other time of the year, just like the sun does at summer solstice. So you can call on that power of the moon illuminating the energy of the night in the dark as you make these cards. You can make one card or as many as you want. Pick some themes or some qualities or magical things that you want to call on during the winter months, like celebration, illuminating what is unseen, hope, community, support, resources, magic of the dark, the underworld, the deep forest, and each card can hold one of those energies. I usually just use regular paper, but if you want to make them nicer, you can use cardstock or colored craft paper and just cut them up into small card-sized shapes or whatever shape you want. And the simplest way to do this is to just write your word on there and call it good, or your theme. But if you want to get a little fancier, what you can do is take some colored pencils, and after you've written your word or theme, kind of embellish those letters a little bit with color or dots or spirals or flourishes on any sticky out bits of the letter. And just do that until it looks right to you. And you can do it more than one time if you don't like your first result. If you want, you can burn some incense while you're doing this work to help hold the magical space. And then when you're done, lay them out somewhere where the full moon light will strike them, and ask the power of the full moon to bring the magical energy of those themes or words into each card. That way, when you're done, you can just lay one of those out on your altar and do some magic around that particular theme. Or as a group, you might make a bunch of them and put them on your altar at various times to help invoke that particular quality or magic. Or as a group, you might make a bunch of them and put them on your altar at various times to help invoke that particular quality or magic. Or as a group, you might make a bunch of them and put them on your altar at various times to help invoke that particular quality or magic. The magical energy of the month and the full moon of January is all about careful preserving of resources. Resources of health, energy, food, finances. It's a very inward month. Even though we've passed the darkest part of the year, it's still going to be several weeks before we really feel the shift of that sun getting brighter. Some of the names for this full moon are the moon after Yule in Anglo-Saxon, Nordic, and Germanic traditions, and in Old English traditions. Wolf moon also in Old English and Celtic languages, and probably some of the indigenous peoples of North America also use that name for this moon or other winter moons. And also supposedly stay-at-home moon, which is supposedly Celtic. I have my doubts. I think it might actually be a modern pagan name for this month, but I'm not sure. On the full moon or near that time, I try to cook up a large batch of something that I can freeze in small packets to use throughout the winter. I just whisper into that food an intention of health, vitality, and nutrition, and stir it in and ask that it nurture and support me through the winter, and stir and stir and stir as I'm saying that. It's really a simple practice. I've mentioned this practice before. It's a simple one, and you can do it on your birthday or also at Samhain. What you do is just pull one card for each of the upcoming 12 months. You could also pull one card for each of the remaining months of winter if you choose, because sometimes near future is a little more accurate. And then you just look at each month and check and see if it looks like a difficult energy card or something that seems pleasant and fine. And then I just usually pull another card, kind of a helper card for each month, to let me know how I can best work with that energy of the month. And my final magical practice for January's full moon is to make a tea. I light a candle and then add rosemary for protection, and then I add some calendula for invoking a little bit of warmth of the sun since we're in short supply during the winter. And also calendula has a physical and a magical property of protecting the surface of things like your skin or the outside magical energy of your house. So strain the tea after you've let it steep, and then just use it to sprinkle around your house on the inside or the outside, and then let the candle burn all the way out while you're doing this. You can also use it in the bath to support your energetic and physical barriers, the places where you interact with the world, and make them a little stronger. And I also think when I sprinkle it around the house, it's kind of nice for the house spirits as well. Some of the names for February's moon are storm moon, snow moon, and ice moon. And really, I think those names are used pretty generically throughout the northern hemisphere for any of the winter month moons. One of the things I like to do is to do some work with charging some of those ideas that have been gestating over the winter and see what I think about them now that it's getting close for them to manifest. So on the full moon in February, I like to do a little check-in card reading about each of those projects I'm thinking about launching, or if there were projects that I just needed to launch during winter just because it was time to do that. I do a little check-in at this time of year just because there's a seasonal shift coming up. So if you have some mugwort, it might be a good idea to sprinkle some of that around the area where you're going to do the reading, or you can also burn it as incense if burning mugwort is not too strong for you. So the way I do this spread is it's a 3-card spread. I pull one card to see what skills and strengths I bring to this idea, one card to see if anything is blocking me, or if I need to maybe wait a little longer. And the way I tell that is if the card that comes up in that position is unpleasant or feels repelling or is traditionally considered a bad card, then it might not be time to pursue it, or you might have to do a little investigation into what exactly is blocking this project from moving forward, or maybe it's just not time right now. And then the final card is for the action that I need to take at this time, or to also ask what energy do I need to hold in order for this idea to progress further. Another practice that I like to do at this full moon, or at Bridget, or at both, is to turn my bathtub or shower into a healing well. And it's pretty simple to do. You can get really elaborate if you want and decorate all up with cloth and all those things, but really all you have to do is to gather up some water from outside, from the rain or the snow, or from your tap, because presumably that comes from somewhere local outside, and then place that water in a clear glass bowl, place 3 candles around it, light them, and then imagine the power of the earth rising up and making the holy wells boil at midnight, moves into your bowl of water through those candles. And if you have trouble visualizing that, you can just talk to the water and ask the candles to do that work for you. Then ask the moon to charge this water with sacred healing and illumination, and things shifting in a way for you that they need to shift to be better. Then let the candles burn all the way out, and then you can put that water in your bath or in your shower. Just pour a little bit of it over yourself if you want. This is just a reminder to say yes in the comments if you would like me to continue this process with the spring full moon magical practices. I also wanted to let you know that if you're looking for something to do for winter solstice, I have a pre-recorded trance and ritual journey video that is for sale on my website, and I'll put the link for that in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing. Check out my Patreon if you feel like you'd like to support my work, even for a few months. It really helps me do this work. I'm wishing you all a wonderful winter. Stay safe and be well.